I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. Here we are, 2022, already. Where has time gone? I mean, the last 2 years have been basically cooped up in the house doing stuff. This year is going to be a little bit different. In the summertime, possibly. Keep our fingers crossed. We don't need any more curveballs. Now, one of my mantras is cook better, eat healthier, and shop smarter. But today we're gonna deviate from that just a little, and we're gonna make peanut brittle. And I've got all the details coming up. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more, I appreciate your subscription. So, peanut brittle. This is the treat that I make sometimes over the holidays, sometimes in the middle of the year when I get a hankering for it. It's just my little go-to treat, and it's so easy to make. And the way that I make it is with my induction burner. That way I don't burn the sugar. Smart thinking, I hope. At least on my part, I think it is. And I use a real candy thermometer. And the reason I use a candy thermometer is other thermometers may be not calibrated properly for candy. This one is, and I'm looking for 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really hot sugar. But that's what gives the brittle its unique characteristics. Also, for this recipe, we're going to need the following. We're going to need 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of white corn syrup. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We're going to need a half a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of softened butter, and a 1/4 cup of water, and of course, your peanuts. We're going to use 2 cups of peanuts. I like using the big Virginia peanuts. So good. And the reason I like the big ones is when I eat peanut brittle, I like to get a big piece of peanut in that brittle. So, let's get things started. First thing we're going to do, we're going to heat up our sugar, our corn syrup, and our water. All right, I'm going to need 300 degrees. Which is about 150 degrees centigrade. Add my sugar. My water. Get my silicone stirring spatula and my corn syrup. We don't need to add the peanuts yet because we want to get this liquefied and starting to cook. If you add your peanuts early, they're going to burn. And burned peanuts do not taste good. We'll also add our salt at this time as well. All right. Everything on the induction burner, and now we have to basically wait. I'm not going to put my thermometer in yet. I'm going to wait until I get this into a liquid form. Doesn't take very long. But we are making candy, of course. So how was your 2021? I hope everybody was healthy. The way the COVID cases are going right now, especially here in Nova Scotia, we're at about 1,000 a day. It's turned into, I won't say it was bad as it was a few years ago, mainly because we now have vaccinations and booster shots. I get my booster shot next week and I'm comfortable, but I still mask up. And I think masks are going to be with us for a long time. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, it is an inconvenience, but I haven't had the flu in 2 years. I have a bottle of Perel in my car. We're sort of changing our habits. In the old days, and I mean my old days, because in 2022 I hit 60. One of the things that we used to do was go out and play and eat dirt and play in the mud. Never stayed around your computers all the time, things like that. And I think that's where we got a lot of our immunity from. These days, sort of a sanitary lifestyle. The viruses and the germs, they don't tend to, you're not immune to them or as immune. So we're stirring this now. And what we're doing is just melting the sugar, into the corn syrup, into the salts. And this is I won't say a lengthy process. It'll take less than an hour to make your peanut brittle, but you do have to be very careful on the temperatures and things like that. So I'm going to keep stirring this because I don't want any sugar to burn on the bottom. And I'm going to stir it until it gets translucent so I can see through it. Then I can put my thermometer in and start watching the temperatures. All right, the sugar has come up to a boil. At this point, I'm going to put in my candy thermometer. And I'm going to put it in such a way that maybe I can get it on camera, which would be kind of nice. Not going to work that way, and I don't have enough cameras, so I'm going to have to put it in front of me. And I'm at 180 degrees already. So now that the sugar and the water, you can tell when the water goes away because the bubbling stops and it starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter. At this point, we're going to add our peanuts. So 2 cups of peanuts go into the peanut brittle. And you just start stirring. And you keep stirring until the temperature gets to 300 degrees. Now this makes enough peanut brittle for, it's almost a double batch. In my opinion, it's a single batch because it's the way I like my peanut butter and my peanut brittle. One of the things you do have to be careful of is the temperature. That's why I use the induction. If you go over 300 degrees, your peanuts are going to burn. Your brittle is going to get very dark, and it may not be as savory or sweet. I would say it's more of a sweet savory because you've got the peanuts and you've got the brittle. Something just to get stuck in your teeth. Well, that's getting up to temperature. It's only at 180 degrees right now. I've got quite a ways to go to 300. One thing you want to get prepared, aluminum baking sheet. And the reason we use aluminum is it transfers heat very fast because we want the peanut brittle to become very brittle. I'm going to use 2 coasters to put under it so that the aluminum doesn't burn my counter. And then we'll have our baking soda and our butter all ready to go. That'll be stirred in at the last moment. All right, so I'm going to have a brown peanut brittle. And I see a couple of the peanuts got hidden underneath the thermometer, so they've turned even darker brown, which is okay. We're at 290 degrees. Pretty soon the magic's going to happen. I've got an extra piece of parchment paper here because when I take the thermometer out, it's going to be very sticky. I want to double check my temperature. 295. And if you get a brown peanut in, it's not too bad. But that's why I like the induction. It doesn't, it won't go over 300 degrees. Or at least it tries not to. And you've got to keep stirring all the time. I stopped a couple of times to adjust camera. That's why I've got a couple of overdone peanuts in here, but I'm very close. This is where the magic will happen. Now, the way I've got my camera set up, I'm going to show you the pour. I'm at 300 degrees. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to take my thermometer out, take any extra peanuts, and I'll put this on a piece of parchment. And now I'm going to add my butter. And the butter is just going to melt nice and gently. But when I add my baking soda, this is where the magic happens. So I throw the baking soda in and I start to stir. And now it's frothed. It's frothed up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's getting frothy. Just want to make sure that that butter is melted in there completely. And we'll take a couple of seconds. There, the butter's melted. And we're ready for the pour. I'll turn that off. And let's pour our peanut brittle onto our parchment. Now I want to make sure it stays on the parchment, at least in my scenario. And depending upon how thick or how thin you like your peanut brittle, you can spread it out a little. That is perfect for me. All right, so if you're wondering about cleanup, this is gonna solidify rock hard. And when it does, all you do is run it under hot water or put it in hot water, it'll dissolve and you'll be able to clean it up. We'll let this peanut brittle sit. It's gonna sit for probably about 8 or 9 minutes, and I'll show you how we finish it off. All right, so our peanut brittle has been cooling. It's now cold. One of the things I like to do with it as well, remember I put 2 tablespoons of butter. I just like to take a paper towel, give it a wipe. That way your guests don't get any greasy fingers or anything. And we'll just bring it up. And that's the size I like to eat, but in order to make it peanut brittle, you gotta make it break. Ready? Oh, only one piece broke. So you can see it's brittle. Breaks apart into nice chunks. And you get a piece with lots of peanuts in it. Oh, my favorite. That's how I make peanut brittle. I hope you try it. Oh, pardon me for a minute. I just have to, oh, so good. That's good peanut brittle. I do hope you give it a try. Let me know in the comments how you make out, and I'll see you in the next video. For more information on this recipe, head over to my website, www.chefmikemoses.com. You'll find I have a blog there with recipes you can print off. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm here to help you cook better, eat healthier, shop smarter.